It's Thursday night. You open DoorDash, not because you're too tired to cook, but because there's nothing in the fridge and you forgot to grocery shop again. The total comes to $34 after fees and tip for a meal that would have cost $19 at the store. That's called the convenience tax, and it's not one charge. It compounds every time your environment makes the expensive option slightly easier than the cheap one. Your savings account isn't empty because you spend too much. It's empty because your daily setup is quietly making every small decision go the wrong way. And the fix has nothing to do with spending less. It has everything to do with how your day is set up. Hey everyone, I'm Sam, your go-to personal finance guide. What you just heard isn't a spending problem. It's a setup problem. The insights in this video are pulled from proven financial strategies and real-world data. If you spot anything that needs a tweak or fact check, drop a comment below. Let's get into it. Habit number 1, stop following accounts that flex and start following accounts that teach. I went through my Instagram following list one Sunday afternoon, and I noticed something. About a third of the accounts I followed were people showing off things I didn't have. A guy renovating a 5-bedroom house in Austin. A couple traveling to a new country every 3 weeks. A woman posting daily outfits that cost more than my monthly rent. Here's the thing about that kind of content. It's not designed to inform you. It's designed to make you feel like you're missing something. And when you feel like you're missing something, you spend money trying to fill that gap. Psychologists have a name for this: social comparison. The moment you start measuring your life against someone else's highlight reel, you stop being able to enjoy what you actually have. The apartment you live in feels smaller. The car you drive feels older. The vacation you just got back from feels less impressive. Nothing in your life changed, but the way you see it did. And that shift costs money. Not all at once, but in small, invisible ways, month after month. You upgrade the apartment a little sooner than you needed to. You buy the jacket because someone you follow made it look like the obvious choice. The fix isn't complicated. Go through your following list today. Any account that makes you feel like your life isn't good enough, unfollow it. Not because those people are doing anything wrong, but because you don't need to compare yourself to anyone to live well. Then replace them with accounts that actually help you grow. Personal finance creators, people sharing how they built a side income. Investors explaining concepts in plain English. Same time on your phone, completely different direction for your money. If you open your social media right now and scroll for 60 seconds, notice how you feel when you put it down. That feeling is either building you up or quietly costing you money. Habit number 2, live below your means, not at your means. Most people think they'd save more if they just earned more, but look at what actually happens every time someone gets a raise. The apartment gets nicer, the car gets newer, the restaurants get better. The savings rate stays exactly the same. Americans save an average of 4.4 cents out of every dollar they earn, according to the Bureau of Economic Analysis. That number hasn't moved much in decades, despite incomes rising steadily. The problem isn't the paycheck, it's the pattern. Here's how to break it. If you qualify for an $1,800 apartment, rent the $1,500 one. If you can afford a $30,000 car, buy the $20,000 one. The gap isn't money you're missing out on. It's money you're quietly building freedom with. Jay Leno earned up to $30 million a year, hosting The Tonight Show. He never spent a single dollar of it. He told CNBC he lived entirely off his stand-up comedy income and banked every NBC paycheck. He started that habit when he was making $200 a week at a car dealership. Not when he was famous, when he was nobody. The habit came first. The wealth came second. If you've ever chosen the cheaper option and realized your life didn't actually get worse, drop it in the comments. A specific one. The apartment you didn't upgrade. The car you didn't buy. The vacation you scaled back. Because those stories are more useful than any advice I can give, and I genuinely like to read them. Here's a useful test. Look at your last 3 pay raises. Did your savings rate go up, or did your spending just find new places to go? Habit number 3, audit your subscriptions and turn off auto-renew. The average American loses about $204 a year to subscriptions they're not using. Not subscriptions they hate, subscriptions they forgot about. Here's how to fix it in 30 minutes. Open your bank statement from last month. Find every recurring charge. For each one, ask a single question. Did I use this in the last 30 days? If the answer is no, cancel it today. If the answer is yes, but the price feels high, check if there's a cheaper tier. Most streaming services now have ad-supported plans that cost $4 to $6 less per month. Most people never switch because the default is to do nothing. The default is always expensive. Habit number 4, make buying harder and saving automatic. Here's the simplest thing you can do today. Go into every shopping site you use regularly, Amazon, Target, wherever. Delete the saved card information. That's it. When you have to find your wallet, pull out the card and type the number manually. You add about 60 seconds to every purchase. That 60 seconds is enough for your brain to catch up with your wallet. I did this about a year ago, and I was buying things I genuinely don't remember deciding to buy. A garlic press I used once, a book I read 4 pages of, a rain jacket that still has the tag on it. Removing the saved card didn't stop me from buying things I actually needed. It just stopped me from buying things at 11 at night when my judgment was at its worst. The second rule is the 48-hour rule. Any non-essential purchase over a certain amount, pick your own number, $50, $100. You wait 48 hours before buying it. Not because you can't afford it, but because most of the time, after 48 hours, you don't want it anymore. The craving was real. The need wasn't. On the savings side, set up an automatic transfer to a high-yield savings account for the day after payday. Not a big number. Whatever you can commit to without thinking about it. When saving happens automatically and spending requires effort, you stop relying on motivation. And motivation is not a reliable financial tool. If you're not already keeping your emergency fund in a high-yield savings account, that's worth looking at this week. A standard checking account pays almost nothing right now. A high-yield savings account pays somewhere around 4 to 5% annually. Same money. Different account. Completely different outcome over 2 years. If you've tried either of these, the saved card trick or the 48-hour rule, let me know in the comments which one actually stuck. Genuinely curious whether one works better than the other for most people. Habit number 5. Stop buying for the person you plan to become. When did you last buy something for a version of yourself that never quite showed up? The gym membership you got in January because this year was going to be different. The photography course you bought because you were finally going to learn. The meal prep containers, the language app, the standing desk, all bought for a future version of yourself that never quite showed up. It's a documented psychological pattern. We consistently overestimate how different our future behavior will be from our current behavior. We buy for who we intend to be, not who we actually are. And the fitness industry, the self-improvement industry, the productivity industry, they are quite literally banking on it. Americans waste approximately $1.3 billion every year on gym memberships they don't use, according to research by Finder. The fix is simple. Prove the habit first, then pay for it. Want to start going to the gym? Use YouTube workouts for 30 days. If you're still doing it after 30 days, get the membership. Want to learn photography? Rent a camera for a weekend before buying one. Want to take up camping? Rent the gear for one trip before buying any of it. Test the habit before you fund it. 30 days tells you most of what you need to know. Habit number 6. Measure wealth by options, not balance. Consider 2 people. Person A earns $80,000 a year and spends $45,000. Person B earns $200,000 a year and spends $195,000. By most social measures, person B looks wealthier. Nicer apartment, newer car, better restaurants. But person A can quit a job that's making them miserable without financial panic. Person A can take 6 months off if something happens in their family. Person A can say no to a client a situation, a commitment, without calculating whether they can afford to. Person B cannot do any of those things. Person B is trapped inside a lifestyle that requires the full $200,000 to maintain. The technical term for what Person A has is optionality, the ability to make choices based on what you actually want, not just what you can afford to keep funding. That's what financial security actually feels like, not a balance, a feeling of having room to move. Here's the reality check before you close this tab. If even 2 of these 6 changes stick, the math shifts meaningfully over 12 months. Not dramatically, but enough to notice. One question worth sitting with before you move on. Of the 6 habits in this video, which one is your current setup making the hardest to do? If you know the answer, drop it below. Because the habit you resist the most is usually the one worth starting with. If this video gave you something useful, hitting that like button helps more people find it. And if you want more of this kind of content, there's a subscribe button right below that costs you nothing. I'm Sam. I'll see you in the next one.